All right, welcome everyone. Feeling good still with us today? Yeah? Okay, got a clap over here. All right, this next session is all about how to build a fan funnel with the wonderful Danny Savage. Make some noise.
Hi, how are you? You all looking forward to Elro tonight? Yeah? You had a good week? Yeah, cool. Okay, so this presentation is called How to Build a Fan Funnel. So if you don't know me, first off, I'm from a place called Yorkshire in north of England. So if you don't understand me, I'll give you a link for a subtitled version at the end, okay? At the end of this presentation, I am going to give you a link where you can get this in a more detailed online course for free. So you can take notes, but I'll also give you a link right at the very end where you can get a free online course, which is everything I've taught you a bit more in depth, okay? So I'm the author of a book called DJ Goals. I also run an iTunes #1 podcast where I interview industry experts to give you guys the knowledge, tools, and techniques you need to succeed in the music industry. I also run an online community. Well, it's a worldwide community. It's not just online. It's called DJ Growth Lab. And our mission is to empower electronic musicians with the knowledge, tools, and techniques to build a career in the music industry. So we do this by hosting villa retreats. This is a villa retreat we've got on at the moment in Ibiza. It's a production retreat. We collaborated with London Sound Academy. We do all sorts of different retreats. We do mastermind dinners. This is one we had on Tuesday in Ibiza with Roger Sanchez, Neil Evans from Electric Ibiza, Michael Wilson, tech editor of DJ Mag, Billy Masjuth from owner of Brighton Music Conference, and all these guys are our DJ students. So we do mastermind sessions, barbecues, pizza, beer, basically sit around a table and chat. We also do workshops around the UK mainly, but we are extending into Europe. So this is one of our workshops we did a few weeks on launching a podcast in Manchester. These are all our guys. And we also host a monthly residency at Ministry of Sound in London, as well as branching out into other club residencies over the next 6 months. And this is Gary Wood, one of our production mentors. Some of you guys might have been working with Gary over the last 2 days here on the one-on-one production sessions. Anyone work with Gary this week? Is anyone doing one? Yeah? Cool. Good. So Gary's one of our production coaches. And we also run an online community called the Get Booked Academy, which is an online membership site with online courses, webinars, Facebook group, and there's about 6, 7, 8 people in this room now, members of our Get Booked Academy. They were playing at the casino last night, Dragonora. Some of them are sat down here. So, first off, how many of you guys know what a fan funnel is? Anyone? Yeah? What can you describe what you think it is? Okay, yeah, good. So, if anyone's ever has anyone ever bought anything online, say, clicked a Facebook ad, and then you've gone through a system of emails, and then you've ended up buying it? Anyone? Yeah? So that's called a sales funnel. So this is a similar version. I've adapted this for electronic musicians. So, first off, I just want to introduce you to a theory. It's by a guy called Kevin Kelly. It's called the 1,000 True Fans Theory. Has anyone ever heard of this? No? Yeah? Okay, so this is a quote from Kevin Kelly. He wrote a book on this. There's loads of blogs. I wrote a blog on it as well. So a creator such as an artist, musician, photographer, craftsperson, performer, animator, designer, video maker, or author. In other words, anyone producing works of art needs to acquire only 1,000 true fans to make a living. So a lot of musicians, a lot of artists get hung up on vanity metrics like 10,000 Facebook likes, so many Instagram followers, etc., etc. And realistically, all you need is 1,000 true fans, which is quite a small number compared to what people think that they need. Does anyone in here, is that something that resonates with you? Do you think that getting 1,000 true fans is quite easy? No? No? Okay. So I'm going to show you a technique that can help you do this. So 1,000 fans. So imagine if you had 1,000 true fans. These are fans that like your music, they follow you around, they come to your gigs, they buy tickets to your events, etc. So if you could convert 1,000 fans to buying one of your tracks, that's quite easily a top 10 Beatport position, and it's also potentially a number 1 position. So 1,000 true fans is what I aim for in my business, and 1,000 true fans is what I tell all my DJs and artists who are part of our community to aim for, is to get 1,000 true fans. Okay, so introducing the fan funnel. So this is what a fan funnel looks like. So step 1, we've got a fan magnet. So it's called attract. So we're attracting fans, that's the first stage. Step 2 is to engage, and we use an autoresponder for this. And step 3 is to convert into a true fan, someone that buys your music, buys tickets for your gigs, merchandise, online courses, whatever you're putting out there. And we do this in this 4-step method. So the fan magnet, I'm going to go on to now first. So you put something out that's an offer, something of value, what you give away for free, in exchange for someone coming onto your landing page and giving you something in return, so like an email address, and then you put them on your email list and you engage and nurture your fans into true fans, okay? And we do this by using these tools. So who uses HypeEdit? Anyone out there use HypeEdit? Pardon? Put your hands up. Just a few. Okay. Any of you use MailChimp for managing your email lists? Yeah? Okay, so you're familiar? So the first step of a fan funnel is to attract. So by using something we call a fan magnet. So that's, you get me. I laugh every time I do this, you know. So what is a fan magnet? A fan magnet is something of value that you give away for free in exchange for an email address or an action to be taken. So I'm going to show you a few different actions people can take as well as an email address. But you've got all these platforms on social media where you're putting out content, and what you need to be doing is driving traffic back to the source, which for me is a website with an email list. I could do a whole webinar on why websites are really important. Most people overlook having their own website. But today we're going to talk about email lists. So driving traffic from all these different platforms by using a link to a fan magnet, which will then build your fan list, which enables you then to engage with your fans. So different types of fan magnets. So you'll probably see these all over online, PDF guides, MP3s, link to a platform, say iTunes, YouTube, etc. One rule for giving away free content, free fan magnets, is to make it really easily digestible. So like a quick win, or for you guys, a track. A podcast is also a good fan magnet. I've got an iTunes #1 podcast, and on the podcast I've got thousands of subscribers, and every podcast has links in the show notes back to my website to get free offers, or to get a course, or to join our online Facebook group, etc. Sample packs are another really good one to give away for free. A guide on how to solve XYZ problems. So if you're a producer, you could give away free guides on how to produce, how to get over some sort of production problems. You could run questionnaires to find out what people actually want solving. You could do this by online courses, videos, PDF guides, etc., etc. So like I said, online courses are a really good way to get people to trust in you as fans, because if you're putting together production or DJ courses, you're going to attract more producers and DJs, and they're the sort of people that might like your music as well. A Facebook group is a really good idea. I've got a Facebook group with over 5,000 DJs. It's a free group, and it's highly engaging. The DJs in there, we have strict rules where there's no spamming, no posting tracks and mixes and stuff. It's all there to help and educate the DJs. And blogs, something that I write blogs every now and again, but I'm not really going to touch on blogs much today. But optimizing your blogs, if you're putting written content out there, optimizing it for SEO, so people find you on Google, and then you can drive traffic to your list. YouTube videos, every time you put out a YouTube video, put in links in the comments to drive traffic back to your fan magnet again. So every time I put anything out, I always put a link to something in the comments. We do loads of live streams with big DJs. We've got tons on my Facebook page. Every single one, you'll notice there's a link in the comments or the description that sends people back to my website to get more content. Mixers, we don't recommend mixers. They're too long. Mixers are really good. Obviously, this is what you are, your DJs. You want to get your mixers out there, but mixers are good to give to fans. They're not really that good for getting fans because people have got to dedicate a long amount of time to listen to your mix to find out if they like you first, okay? So, but yeah, the number one thing to remember is in any fan magnet, anything you're giving away for free is to add value. And so what we're going to talk about, all them different types of fan magnets there, and today we're going to talk about giving away free music using HypeEdit. So a few of you guys have already started using HypeEdit. HypeEdit is a download gate, and I'm going to show you what we did with one of my clients called Rocky G. And we set this up a couple of months ago. So you set up the HypeEdit page. What you do is you upload the track, and then you get a link, and you advertise the link in whichever way, and then they click the link, and they've got to take an action to download the free track. So instead of just sending out SoundCloud links with free tracks all the time, you send them this. They land on this page, they click download, and then it asks them for whatever you've requested. There's quite a lot of actions in there, so I'm not going to bore you to death with all the different actions. You just have to go and have a look. But these are the main ones that we use. So these are the steps, they're called. So step one is to get an email address. And I highly recommend getting an email address first and only using one step when you first do this. Instead of trying to overwhelm somebody and say, I want your email, I want you to follow me on SoundCloud, I want this. Just one step at a time. Ask for an email address first. And then after that, you can send them another free track and then ask for a different step because you've already got their email. You can ask for a SoundCloud reshare, a SoundCloud follow, etc. So why email? A lot of you guys might think email's dead, but if you heard Danny Whittle yesterday speaking on stage, he says that he's completely deleted Messenger. He doesn't listen to any tracks sent to him by Messenger or Instagram or any other platform. He only listens to tracks sent by email because he prefers Messenger as his personal platform and emails for business. And a lot of people in the music industry do think this same way, but a lot of artists do bombard labels and nights, promoters, managers, etc. on all different social media platforms. Mark Lawrence as well yesterday talking about if he ain't got time to read the email, then next thing they start Instagramming him, and then next day they're Facebooking him, and he said it just gets to a stage where he ignores them completely because they're bombarding him on every different platform where they should really give him time to answer to the email. So that's taken from yesterday, but this is what we teach anyway. So 99% of us open emails every single day. For some, that's as many as 20 times per day. Email feels more personal and better for building relationships. You can use email lists for targeting ads as well. So I was talking to Tristan this morning from AFM, and he didn't even know this. So when you've got an email list of, say, 10,000 email addresses, you can upload that to Facebook in your ads manager. And if they're using that same email address on Facebook, you can then target ads to them emails. So, for example, let's say 60%, I don't know, I'm just making a number up here, 60% of the email list you've got, use that email on Facebook. You can then target 6,000 of your fans as well. So you can send an email out, and then you can also direct ads with videos or links to the tracks as well. So you're eliminating people not opening the emails, or people that have opened the emails, you're also backing it up with a Facebook ad as well. So it's really good for that, and you can. I don't use Google Ads much, but you can also upload the data to Google as well. So it's really vital to have this list. And an email list, you own the email list. I actually deleted some slides from this to make it a bit smaller today, but there were a few case studies of big people who've had like millions and millions of Facebook followers, and Facebook have decided to wipe out the Facebook account for whatever reason. The guy that did the Red Bull thing, what's he called? Felix. He had his Facebook completely wiped out for no reason. He lost 1.4 million people on his Facebook. So an email list is completely yours. You own it forever. Yeah, whatever, if your MailChimp goes bust, you can always move your emails onto a different platform. So like relying on one social media platform as your sole source of fans and content is it's not a good move. So getting emails, it's the one thing that you can always control and own, okay? So another thing, most artists aren't doing this. Most DJs aren't using email marketing at all whatsoever. Like I said, they're using Instagram, Facebook, etc. Cool, so this is the dashboard in HypeEdit. We have John Gold, who owns HypeEdit, comes on our group all the time, and he does free online webinars, Q&As, etc., etc. So after this, like I said, I'm going to give you a link, and John will give you some more in-depth tactics on how to use HypeEdit. But I did this for Rocky G, one of my clients, a few months ago, and these are the stats. So we had 2 download gates, so that were 2 tracks. We used Bootlegs, which is her remix of, this one's Jaguar. There you go. Not that Jaguar, but an old techno track. So she did bootlegs because it's a familiar sound to her audience, yeah? So if she's targeting techno people and she's using big, well-known tracks and she's putting her twist on it and giving them away for free. So it's familiarity with that. So we've got 7,040 fan visits. They actually clicked the link, and then these are the ones that converted into fans by giving an email address. So she got 934 email addresses from this campaign, and that one had 553. And that resulted in her getting #1 chart breaker on HypeEdit in a space of 2 hours, because we'd already built the list beforehand, and then when she released this next bootleg, straight away she had that many fans, it clicked it within the first 2 hours, and it went to #1. And then obviously she uses this to leverage it and build her profile by telling everyone she's got #1 on HypeEdit. So, and as well, you can be searched on HypeEdit, so obviously she's #1. A lot of people will check out the HypeEdit charts, check out the top 10, so she'll be gaining fans from the HypeEdit community as well. So that's how to attract, and that is the tool recommended. There's lots of different variations of this funnel, by the way. So this is just one, and it's the one I think is the most beneficial and easy to use for you guys. So we've done the attract. Next, we're on to engage, and we do this by using an autoresponder, which is called MailChimp. So automation is basically you on autopilot. So imagine you're in bed and everyone's emailing you, and you wake up and you've got 20,000 email addresses to answer to. Automating your emails by using an autoresponder is basically you on autopilot. So it's responding for you for the first instance of the message. So first off, HypeEdit and MailChimp do not click together natively, so you need to use a tool called If This Then That. So there's a link there to a video where John Gold describes how to integrate that. So if you're interested, take a screenshot of that. Like I say, I'll send you this afterwards as well. And that shows you how to integrate. It's free. I forgot to say this. Everything in this tutorial, what's it called? Presentation, is free. Yeah, all the tools are free. HypeEdit's free for the first so many downloads. MailChimp's free. If This Then That is free. So everything's free to start with until you get past a certain amount of fans, which is a good thing. If you're getting thousands of fans, you want to start investing more. So that's a video tutorial on how to integrate MailChimp with HypeEdit. So you get to MailChimp, you sign up for a free account there. It goes up to $9.99 if you get, I think, 1,000 subscribers, something like that. It's still worth it. And so you go on, click the free account, and then what you want to go to next is you want to set up a campaign. So click on the top right, start your campaign, and this will be, open that for email. So design and send automated regular emails to your contacts. next page, welcome new subscribers. So basically what you're doing is someone's clicking on your HypeEdit link, they're getting the download, and then instantly you also respond to emails them as well, and it'll say thank you for downloading the track or whatever you want to put in there. So there you go, download my free track here. You put another link in there. You might want to say in the email, also follow me on SoundCloud here or Facebook here or whatever. So you completely personalize the whole text. You completely, edit the subject line. You can put whatever you want in there. And you can personalize it here. So it says, hi, first name. You've all had emails off companies, and straight away it's got your name in there. So it adds that personal touch to it. So it's welcoming them to your email subscription list, and you can put whatever text in there you want. I advise keeping it as minimal as possible. Don't overload people with loads of information, like click this, join me here, do that. Try to keep everything as minimal as possible, and then slowly add steps over the coming weeks and months with your fans. Okay? So, rules of engagement. The automation is only the first step. So that's just to get people subscribed to your list. And then what you want to do is you want to take over and add the personal touch. So personal interaction, one-to-one. People will reply to your emails. That's something you don't automate. You reply to every email individually. You read every email. Same with your social medias. You should reply to every single comment on your socials. Anyone posts a comment on your Instagram stuff, you should reply to every single comment to boost engagement and interact with your fans. Reply to every single email you get. I try to do this. Sometimes it can get quite overwhelming, but it's one of the things you've got to do. And then send out weekly mailers. So one good thing about using MailChimp and email management tools is you can have a list of thousands, and you can send a bulk email message out to the whole list in one go. So if you've got a new track, what you're going to release, we're going to talk about this in a minute, you can just send that out to the list in one click. Okay? So broadcasts, weekly emailers, keeping people up to date with what you're doing. Okay, and step 3 is convert. So we've done attract, engage, convert. So this works for anything really. So this whole system works in any industry. If you're a club promoter, if you're a producer, if you're doing online courses, tutorials, Gary Wood, who we talked about earlier, he uses this same system to build his fan base up by giving away free online music tutorials. So if you want to sell more tickets, if you want to sell more tracks, if you want to sell sample packs, there's a golden rule, what I tell everyone, and I told you guys this before you launch your club night, and it's don't ever launch anything without building a list first. So a lot of artists come to me and say, I've been signed to this label, I've got this big track coming out, it released, and then no one bought it. And they're relying 100% on the label to promote the track, when really they should be concentrating on themselves. I've even had guys who don't even know the day that the track's released. They've told me, it could be out today. I think it might have been out yesterday. You really, really, really need to get to grips with your own marketing and start pushing this yourself as well. So building a list before you launch anything, like especially a club night. I've had so many people launch events, and they've just thrown the event out there, expecting everyone to come, and they've not got any fans, they've not built a list, they've not nurtured the list, they've not engaged with anyone, they just release it, and that's that. I've never, over the years I've run business, I've never ever launched anything without testing it out first, building some hype, validating it, and then I'll show you the next bit now. Never ever. So this worked for you, yeah? You launched a club night. We focused on building your list first, getting everyone onto a list, and then launching to the list. Same with everything, same with your tracks. So this is a launch strategy that I use, and it works every single time. One of the main things is signaling and social proof. So that means validating your idea, your music, whatever it is you're putting out there. So you want to make sure that the music's good. You don't want to start giving out, try sell a shit track, obviously. So the quality needs to be there. So you do this by asking people for feedback, putting it out to not just your friends, because they're always going to say they like it, you know what I mean? Putting it out there, by using HypeEdit, for example, and making sure that the quality is there and people actually want what you've got to give. Same with a club night as well. Do people actually want this in your town? Do you know what I mean? Just because you like playing stomping techno in Grimsby, do people in Grimsby want stomping techno? So it's finding out your market. Does anyone know where Grimsby is? No? Sounds good though. One other thing as well is like getting help, building a team. We promote highly using like Fiverr and People Per Hour and Upwork, these freelancing websites out there where you can get people to work for you for as little as $3 an hour. So launching your social media, managing your social media, you can even get people to manage this whole funnel for less than £5 an hour. So try get help if you've not got time. If you work long hours and you've got loads of stuff to do and you really need to do this and you feel stretched, try get help, build a team. So the next step, what I always use is to, after I've tested it out, I've got signal, I've got market feedback. Say, for example, if I'm launching a new online course, I'll put it out first in my group asking if people want this, or I'll ask people to vote on what they want, and I'll give them 3 or 4 options before I decide what to do. And then when I've got that social proof, then I'll create the course, for example. But then what the next step is, then I'll announce a date. So I'll build up hype and anticipation. I'll put a date out there. I'll say in 10 days, for example, on the 14th of November, something big is coming. So everyone gets intrigued. It builds up hype. And then on the lead up to the launch, deliver value. So delivering more valuable content. So if you've got a track release coming in 2 weeks' time, today you want to start giving out some free tracks, maybe 3 free tracks on the lead up to releasing the track to build up the engagement with your crowd, your audience, to build your audience up if you've not got one, by giving out free music. Okay, so this is the strategy I use to launch anything, and it works. If you really want to get into launches, there's a guy called Jeff Walker. He wrote a book called Launch. It's the #1 launch strategy in the world, and it's basically this. I'm actually going out to Phoenix in Arizona next month to go to his 2-day conference all about launches. It's something I really love doing, and I run a Facebook ads agency as well, and I sell tickets for events. I also run this sort of formula for villa retreats as well as my own. So I've got quite a few conferences and villa retreat clients that I use this whole launch strategy on, but we use webinars, and that's a totally different kettle of fish. So, cool. So I think we've got 8 minutes of questions, if anyone's got any. That's the simplest presentation on this that I've ever done, because we've only got 40 minutes. So usually I take about 2 hours trying to explain this. So hopefully you guys have got some value from that. And if you want to get the online course I've put together, and also some free ebooks and some other stuff, that is the link, and that is my funnel. So you'll get to see exactly how it works. So if you click on that link, it'll open up Messenger. Messenger will deliver you a link to click to go to my website to get a free book, where you click a link and it'll download it, and then you'll get an email. So the whole system is set up. It took me about 20 minutes this morning to set it up, and it's there ready for you to get if you need it. So if you want to take a screenshot, and if anyone got any questions at all about any of this? Yeah? A party funnel.
So let's say I want to promote a night in Bristol, yeah? But I don't live in Bristol. One of my friends lives in Bristol, and we had a chance to promote a night in a club. But actually, I live in Warrington.
Yeah.
So it's
Unlucky.
but that's the thing, because I have a chance to play in Bristol. I would love to do it,
Yeah.
but I don't really know the scene. So how would you do it?
I do this all the time with clients. So do you produce? No? Okay. So you'd target something free of value to that audience that like that style of music. So I had a guy who was launching a night in a town that he didn't live in, but he said that he knew a lot of students there and he wanted to move there. So to kick it off, he targeted ads into that city for the demographic that he wanted to attract. So if you don't produce, you could use one of your friends' productions, something like that. So it's like using one of the things on that list. Oh, it's going to go back forever. PDF guides, online courses. I should have just opened it up and gone to it quickly, shouldn't I? Where's that list? Come on, right there. So you've got all these types of fan magnets. So you're wanting to attract people that like that music. So it's really easy to do it on Facebook ads. You just have to learn a bit of targeting. Your demographic age group, for example, and then sort of say, for example, what sort of music is it going to be?
Well, it's going to be mainly techno.
Yeah, name some artists that would ideally you'd book. Name some.
Well, if I would be booking,
Yeah, if you like Carl Cox, yeah, Ricardo Villalobos. So you target fans of Ricardo Villalobos and Carl Cox that live in Bristol, yeah. And I could go into Facebook ads all day long. So like when I set up an ad campaign for an event or anything, I have 30 different audiences, and each audience I put a small budget. Like £3 a day for 30 audiences. So over the course of the next few days, I will look at which audiences are working well and which ones aren't. Sometimes I'll be well surprised. Like you'd think with my industry, targeting Pioneer DJ would be the best target ever, and it's the worst. I never get good click-through rates on the Pioneer DJ, and the cost per lead's massive. And then you'll get things that I've never heard of, like ADSR. I never heard of them, and I'm getting leads for like 20 pence a pop. So like you have to gauge it and test it over the course of a few days, and whatever's not working, get rid of it, and whatever is working, scale it and add more budget to it. But yes, it's Facebook ads is quite complicated when you get into that sort of stage. But for you, just start targeting 10 to 15 different separate ad sets, they're called. The ad set is the audience, and target like the age group and the styles of music. So ideally, I always target the DJs. Instead of putting techno heads in Bristol, I target all the DJs that are familiar. Yeah? But it's like I say, it's giving something like this. Putting together a podcast as well. Like if you could do a podcast interviewing the movers and shakers of the Bristol scene and base it around Bristol, it's another way of getting people from Bristol to follow you. Yeah? Podcasts are like one of the main things that I use. I've got loads of my DJs launch podcasts by interviewing, not just putting mixes on there, but you can put mixes on, but also interviewing people as well. So it helps you build your network. Say, for example, you wanted to like get your brand into Motion in Bristol. You'd start by interviewing the owners of Motion in Bristol on your podcast months in advance. You know, build your networks and relationships. So yeah, whatever you think you could give out and target people in that area. Anyone else? Yep.
how much time before the party do you recommend it? Is that for example,
12 weeks? Yeah, easily. You want to start building fans. If you know you're going to launch a club night in February next year, I'd start now building fans up by giving out tracks to people in Bristol, for example, building that Bristol fan base up in some way or another, and then, like I said, launch to your list. Yeah, so then you'd launch it in November.
Another question is because as far as having someone managing these teams, for how many people you say that it should be a party in order to worth it to have you the partner for the social networks?
How many people in your team?
No, what I mean is not the same that you are promoting an event for 200 people.
Yeah?
That maybe it's not gonna, you are not gonna have a big budget. So, when you are thinking in a strategy like this, you have to have like equilibrium, between okay, I can afford a proper funnel campaign, which is I don't know how much money, 1,000, 2,000.
How much do you need to spend to get 200 people in? If I knew that, I'd be a millionaire. It all depends. It's like at the end of the day, your product's got to be good quality and it's got to be valuable and it's got to be something that people need. You can build as many fans as you want, and then you've got a thing that they don't want, or it's a bad quality event or whatever, and it doesn't quite fit with the fans that you've built. It's going to flop. So you need to make sure that it's right. So it's really a difficult question because we can talk about how much per lead does it cost to acquire a fan, and I've got different gauges from the girl there on HypeEdit. I showed you the case study. She was getting fans at something like 16 pence cents. And then there's other things that I've done. I've done villa retreats for yoga retreats in Bali, and they were paying £9 a lead. So it all depends. It's all about testing. So like with Facebook ads, you can never, ever, ever guess exactly what you're going to get. That's why you do a testing period for the first 3 days, and then you'll gauge exactly what you're getting per click and per lead, for example. And then if one's working 10 times better than the rest, you scale that and drop the rest down, get rid of the non-performers. That's why I highly recommend doing like 20, 30 different audiences to test it out. But if you want to ask me any questions after this, just that links to my messenger. So you can just drop me a personal message. Once you're in there and you're added to my subscriber list, then you can drop me personal messages on Messenger and ask me. Yeah? Cool. Anyone else? Bang on 10 past. Get in. So yeah. Okay. No one else? No? Good. Thank you.